Hi. Well, we all have tools that we use all the time, and that's nice. And I have a lot of people that out there on the internet that are telling you about tools that are really weird, but you really need them. Yeah, well, sometimes you really do need that special tool. But what about if you need a special tool that isn't available? One of the first things that I learned was that I really needed an X-Acto blade that would be bent across the tip here to get down in really tight places. And bent X-Acto blades like that really don't come along. Even though I buy them by the hundred like this and I have tons of them, they just don't make it. So how do I do it? Well, we go to the old torch here, the modeler's torch, which is sold by Micromark and all kinds of other places. I think Harbor Freight and all those places have it. And what I can do then is I get myself a block of wood. This one happens to be a carbon block that jewelers would use, but that's a fancy term. And what I'm going to do then is bend this blade. And it's real easy to do, hopefully. Turn on my torch. I don't have that much of a flame going here, but I'm just going to heat across. Let me get my glasses off again. I'm going to heat right across the point where I want to make the bend. So right there, and it just changed color. You can see that. And it's going to get soft pretty quick. And as soon as it does, I bend it and off of it. And just that quick, I have a tool now that I can go down in on. I should have had a block of wood here. Get this guy. And I can actually go down in now and carve into that to make grooves, or even if I had this already lined off, and this is nice, I can line with this blade. Then I can line this way as a stop cut, wood carvers would call it. I can actually pivot into that. Not easily, but it can be done. And now I can actually carve out what's going to start to be a square grooved groove. But it allows me to get in some really tight places. And of course I can bend it a lot tighter than what I did. It doesn't have to be this big a bend. Or I can bend it back further if I need one that's more blade out. If I need this to be shorter but really stout like this, I can come in with my Dremel tool and simply cut that off and shorten that down. So there's all kinds of ways I can shorten this. The other thing I want to talk about, which is not so, make sure that's cool, not so standard, but a lot of woodworkers talk about folding their sandpaper. And we don't normally think of it, I don't think, as model makers, but I do it all the time because I used to do some woodworking as well. I've got this piece of sandpaper and it's just 4x4. Cut it out of a bigger sheet. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to eyeball the center of that sheet, and I'm just going to make a cut right there like that. So now what I have is a cut in. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it over right about where that cut was, half and half. Then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to fold each of these tabs over half also. If they didn't quite cut it far enough, I'll just break it a little bit. And we'll bend this one in. And now, why would you fold your sandpaper? Well, sandpaper works best and will last the longest if the sand is not against the sand. In other words, I want the sand to be against the back of the paper, not against itself. So what I can do is, it's real simple. Now that I have my folds already made, I'm going to make the first fold, second fold, and third fold. And now what I have is sandpaper that has the sand always against the paper. And my paper will last a lot longer. I can use both sides here and then simply turn it, folding in the ones that are used, and I'd have two new surfaces then to use again. So a couple of quick tips on the tools that you probably have laying around that you may want to modify or use maybe a little to a better advantage so that they'll last a little longer. Hope this helped, and until we meet again, go down to your railroad room. Let your trains put a smile on your face.